welcome back to our shop. After a couple of 3 weeks of off time, Mrs. DIY and I went to Greece. And last week we posted a video of us driving around Greece for your viewing pleasure. We're back at the shop. And Mrs. DIY, how did the shop got messier while we were gone?
Yeah, that's a weird phenomenon.
Right. So stick around for this new and exciting episode. So today we use scrap pieces of walnut and scrap pieces of a project board from Lowe's to build this very attractive, very versatile, very useful book. Is that a shelf?
Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't go on the wall. It sits on something.
Right. It's still a shelf because of the
For your
where the
credenza,
books sit.
for your credenza or a table or something like that,
Yeah.
right?
The desk.
We design it to be very simple, so that's for beginners. You can kick it up a notch, you can make it a little more difficult, and in the end we will tell you how that can look a little better. But this is designed so anyone can build it, right? There are no hard cuts here, there is nothing really complicated. And we're going to show you every step of the way so you guys can do it. Well, thank you for coming back to the channel. You are still my favorite viewer, and this is going to be an amazing episode. So like we often do, we rated our scrap bin, and we found some pieces we want. For this piece, we want some contrast, right? So this is going to give us the contrast we need. But because we're using scrap, the two pieces we have, what is the other piece?
Behind you.
Are not the same dimension, which means we have to mill them, right? And to do that, you take the one with the smallest dimension, which in our case is this one. You use it to set your saw. And while we're doing that, we realize that this is actually not square. In other words, this is thinner than this, right? And we want to make sure, because this is the first cut we've done in some time, we want to make sure that we didn't put the fence unsquare. Is that the term? Unsquare? So we're going to make sure that our fence is square. And you do that by going both in front and behind your blade and ensuring that it is the same distance, right?
Uh-huh.
If you want, you can go in the middle, but if the two are the same, the middle will be the same too, right? So in this case, our fence is straight, which tells us this is not straight. So we start with the area that can go through the blade, and then we're going to cut this first, and then we're going to reduce the other one.
Is there another method that we could use to measure the distance from the fence to the blade, like your 1, 2, 3 blocks or something?
You could,
you have
but
those?
if that is the dimension you want, though.
Right.
That's the key, right?
But if you have them or you have that, you can use like a 1, 2, 3 block as opposed to the measuring
Right,
tape.
yeah.
Okay.
But you want to make sure that your blade and your fence are parallel. So now that we know that our fence and our blade are parallel, we can show you that, you see here, it goes through easily, right? But if we turn it, you see that this is almost the whole width of the blade. Now this is not a lot, that's 1/8, but still it's 1/8 we need to take off. Otherwise it will not be right. Ready? And if you paid attention, we went from not taking anything off to taking a width blade to actually have extras, right? Which show us that this was not a straight board. Now the next step, this is fine now, is to reduce this, and I'm going to use this area that is the least attractive, right? And we're going to go through and cut this.
And by least attractive, we're just saying there's some knot there and
Right.
it's got a little bit of cracking, so yeah.
And we lost power because we forgot we're charging our EV on the same circuit, and it just cannot take all this. In fact, I'm surprised it lasted this long, to be
Me
honest.
too. Me too.
So as we do always, we use a piece of scrap wood that we like the dimensions for our width. And we're not measuring, we don't really know what it is, but we're going to cut the wood we're actually going to use based on this dimension. Not measuring actually reduces errors and automatically adjusts for thickness variations in your material. So for me, so the next piece we're going to cut has to be wider than the whiteboard that we have here, and it is wider by the dimension of the two sides, right? So without measuring anything, we're setting our saw to make this cut. So these are not connected yet in any way, of shape, or form. We're going to do that so the glue will start setting, and then we're going to cut the next pieces we need.
Okay.
All right, so we noticed that when we put these pieces of walnut next to this piece, there's a little bit of lip here. So this piece is actually thicker than this one. So we want to make them the same. So we're going to use our piece that is the thickness we want, put the blade up against it and lock our fence. And that is now our guide. So this is how it is laying flat. We need to turn it up just like this piece is so that we know the orientation that we're going to take off. You have the piece that's even.
So the next thing is we're going to glue this together. So we start by putting wood glue with some spaces for CA glue in between. And we will also use some clamps to make sure we have good adhesion. And we're going to put the wood glue first because it's not critical in, go do it. It's not critical in timing, right?
It doesn't dry as fast as the CA.
Where the CA glue will dry in a jiffy and a half. Now, don't be afraid, be liberal with your CA glue. Time, continue, please. Sorry. Yeah, press it. Clamp it. I think we need to come here with this because that's where the opening is. Okay, move it up from the thing and want to make sure no glue went out underneath there. Okay.
So now this is the piece that we had just cut to this width. And these are going to be the two sides. We are going to cut an approximate half point here. That's
Well,
what
actually,
we're
a pretty
measuring.
accurate one, because as much as we don't like tape measures, this is a very good way to find the half point of any dimension, right?
Okay.
So the length of this is 23 and 5/8.
Okay.
So we're gonna go here, here's 23 on the bottom scale. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8 is right here.
And you only need one mark to give you the dimension. And then we're going to go to our chop saw and cut it in half.
Okay. So here we are back at Stella. We've put her in the 90-degree position for this cut, lining up our saw blade and our mark. This saw has a really positive line that shows. Here we go. Awesome. So we milled a couple more pieces of the walnut for these wider pieces to be the frame, for want of a better word. And now we are going to cut them exactly in half and then adjust for our uprights based upon that measurement. See the little bitty mark there? We're lining that up with the saw blade. There we go. Now, based on the pieces that we just cut previously of that walnut, which is going to serve as sort of the frame or the accent piece, we've now adjusted the height of our two side pieces, and this is what we are cutting off. So here we are doing a dry fit. I'm at the top of this piece. That's going to be the bottom of it. And the idea is that this is the side. We're going to have the shelf that comes out this way. This other piece that's going to make it it's going to be kind of floating, but it looks like one continuous board with the other board coming through, and then some slight little feet just for appearance.
Again, we're following the same process of using wood glue and CA glue.
No.
This is not strictly necessary. We only do it because we want to expedite the process and finish for filming purposes. However, if you have the time to let the wood glue dry, you do not have to do that. The wood glue does the heavy lifting for the connection, for the joint. Again, the CA glue serves as clamps, even though we are using clamps as well. The main reason we're using clamps is because there is a slight bow in a couple of the boards, and we try to avoid that. So here you need to make sure that you're on top, you're very nice and flush. Then put a clamp.
Doesn't want to go. These are going to fit. I'm going to have to go get, yeah.
I'm a clam. All right, so we have our orientation all set up. This piece is still clamped from the glue. We have used our insert as a placeholder for the piece that's coming through from the platform. This is a side. It'll come through the platform like this. So that's the thickness that we need. And then we have our filler piece that's going to sit down here at the bottom. And we need to attach this. So we're going to use some small head screws.
So this is the original piece that we glued and did, and it's gonna fit right in there.
Yep.
And it's not absolutely necessary, but we did take the piece that we cut off and lined the grain so it looks continuous,
Yep.
just for aesthetics.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so don't worry about it.
So now we're putting that spacer piece into place. We're using a little bit of wood glue, and then we will drill some pilot holes and install the screws.
Careful. Okay.
Okay, we have our spacer piece here that is taking the place of our bottom of the shelf. And I'm giving it a little wiggle room just so we can get that piece in and out. And then we're going to do the bottom piece, which makes it complete. And what I'm doing here is I'm just positioning it at the height that I want it from the bottom. This is the bottom and these are the feet. And then I'm going to make a little line so that I have a mark. And when I'm ready to glue and screw this in place, I'll know that I have it exactly in the right place.
And these all our pieces assembled, but without the final piece be assembling.
What language was that? What
English
are you saying?
is hard, man. Now, there are several options you can have here. And one of them is that you can have both sides opening and closing like here, right? Like, don't really do anything else. We want to have one side stationary and the other moving. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll do it the same way. We're going to probably put screws here to hold this piece stationary. Now, the next step will be to either sand them or put them through a planer to make sure that this surface is perfect, right?
More machinery. We have the planer out, getting it set up and ready to go. So now we have planed all three pieces. They are smooth, you can see. And as mentioned, we're going to attach one side of this bottom shelf to the upright,
Not necessary, it's a matter of preference.
right? But we are doing it for this project. And so we are drilling that pilot hole, and then we will use these screws. We're not sponsored, we purchased
I
these.
can't.
Why? And just like that, this is the finished project. Now, there are a lot of different options that you can exercise here, right? For example, as we saw you, both of them can be movable.
Adjustable, yeah.
In our case, we want to have the books here and potentially a little shelf on the other side to put a little plant or something, we don't know yet. Also, you can have longer feet than we do, right? You can make the dimensions difference, of course, and you can make it with different material. We had a lot of scrap, and we decided to use our scrap to make a fun little whimsical project that everyone can use.
Yeah, but even though it was scrap, we had some really nice walnut to go with this pine to give it that two-toned, really nice upscale look. I think it looks really nice.
And the screws actually are doing a nice job, I think. They're a nice little detail, right?
Yeah. And the wet project would be complete without just a little bit of finish sanding here. Even though the planer does do a nice job, sometimes you still end up with a little bit of the fuzzy hairs on some pieces, so we're just cleaning that up a little bit before putting that final finish on.
So we always like to give you cost. Our effective cost was zero because everything we used was scrap, right? And that's one of the fun things of building. You end up with a lot of scrap. But if we were to buy the material, the walnut we used came out of what you call it, strips of walnut that
It
the
was-
Elpida bought back in May for $29.
It was an off-cut box, yeah.
And we'll put the cost here. Now that is $10 more expensive, the cost here. So our cost for everything, the whiteboards are actually what the Lowe's calls project boards. And they are not very expensive, between $17 and $23, depending on the day and how expensive your region is.
And we effectively cut two pieces off that board.
Yeah, very little material. So I would doubt we spend more than $5 in material. What do you think, Elpida?
No, I think it's probably really close, or maybe even less than that, but to be generous, $5.
But I think you will not find this in any less than $30 to $60 in a store. And I doubt it will be solid woods, where this is all solid wood, right?
Right.
And walnut to match. I mean, usually we don't use expensive wood, we just stain white wood, right? But this, in this case, this is walnut.
Right, and we had it, and we've had these scraps and have been looking to incorporate them into the projects to make them step up, and this is a really good project for that.
So not a very expensive project overall. We encourage you to try it. And again, this is a little shelf, right? And in our case, it holds books, and then you can put some memorabilia or a plant or something on the other side, right?
Or if you just want to expand it, because this does move, you can put more books there.
Right,
It just
yes.
depends on the look you're going for.
And the biggest advantage, of course, is that this fits your books perfectly, right? Because
Right.
it can get tight
It
on your
serves
books.
as both the shelf and what you would call a bookend
Yep.
to help hold your books in place.
This was the first time we designed this, right? We saw something similar, and I redesigned it to be easier to build, right? It can also be harder to build, but will be more attractive, right? The quality will go a notch up. Is it quality or just attraction?
Both.
So if I was to build it again, I will do one thing different. And I think I will do different. If you see here, we have a reasonably big gap, right? Because we attach this piece based on dimensions that we have, but lumber doesn't have perfect dimensions. So what I would have done different is I would wait to attach this piece and use the actual piece as the dimension,
As the space.
as the spacer, right?
Okay.
Also, you can use this, leave them longer, and then not cut this piece, but create openings and have them extend, and it will make it a very nice Japanese style looking thing, right?
And so what you mean by that is this piece would come out further, and then there would be two, like, essentially kind of pegs that you would put in there with openings to help hold it in place.
No, I was talking about this
Ah.
coming out and have this one piece and then make
okay.
two openings, and this will look like a Japanese joinery.
Oh, okay.
So there are many ways that you can make it yours. We build it the way I felt would be the easier for beginner woodworkers and someone that has never done it. Another way, and potentially even simpler than what we did, would be to not cut this piece at all, the stationary piece, right? Have it one piece, and then use screws to attach the shelf to the other side, and then you will not have this detail showing. It doesn't bother me, but it will be a little cleaner look, and it is not difficult, right? It wouldn't increase the level of difficulty. Any other thing we'll do different, ladies? Because of the way this piece looks, we decided to finish it using just polyurethane, right? Because we like the contrast between the white and the darker wood, and poly makes it more durable and brings the stain out. It will be a shame to cover this with what?
Brings the grain out.
Isn't that what I said?
You said stain.
Ah, yeah. There is no stain. We're not staining it. Brings the grain out and makes it look even better. Now, are there negatives in poly, Mrs. DIY?
There can be. If you're not using the type that I'm using, there can be a lot of fumes. I use the Minwax polyacrylic,
Not sponsored.
which is water-based, and it is definitely a product that I stick by because it's very easy to use, it has a great result, and there are not a lot of fumes to take in.
Very good.
So,
Well, folks, this is our project for today. And as you can see, is that a contemporary? What kind of style would you call it?
It is.
It's a great gift. It is inexpensive. It takes, what do you say, a couple of hours? It doesn't
Yeah.
really take a long time to build.
and without filming, definitely goes faster.
Yeah. So I encourage you to do this build. From Professor DIY, Mrs. DIY, and Alpida, let's build something fun together.